Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Yeah, many older people find their last work years challenging, whether they're employed or looking for work that's remunerative. Maybe one or more of these ideas will help. Rebrand yourself in your current job. If you're already employed but unhappy, sometimes rather than a job change or a career change, just a job tweak will do. Such a tweak could use your age as a plus, as well as make your job more enjoyable. For example, can you convey that you're the wise elder by more often making suggestions in a meeting based on what you've seen work before? For example, I ran into a similar situation a couple of years ago. We tried X and Y, which failed, but Z succeeded. Or, can you be more explicit in branding yourself as the wise elder? For example, offer to mentor new or existing employees, or if you prefer to be paid more on your acquired wisdom than on how much you crank out, could you angle for a changed job description, whether a promotion to management or informally to do, for example, process development or help other employees or customers solve problems? Pursue a job in which age is a plus. Your being older is a plus, for example, as a manager in a senior center or an assisted living community, as a social security eligibility specialist, as a salesperson of long-term care insurance or life insurance in general, being a manager of some sort in a durable medical equipment company, or selling big ticket items that mainly older people can afford: boats, airplanes, luxury cars, even architectural services. I should make particular mention of fundraising work. Most people have acquired sufficient wealth to make big donations only when they're older, and such people would generally prefer to be solicited by a gray hair than by a fresh face. Consider under the radar careers. Of course, there are thousands of those, but to jumpstart your thinking, here are a few that most people don't think about and that are well suited to people over 50. Conference administrator. Conventions and other professional meetings require people to manage mailings, registration, select and monitor on-site services, and so on. Ghostwriter for executives. Or contact celebrities who are just over the hill and afraid of losing their celebrity. Offer to ghostwrite their biography. A consultant. Even if your career hasn't been senior level. For example, if you were an administrative assistant, you might hire yourself out as a trainer of admins. Fashion model. While many young adults salivate at the thought of modeling, fewer people who are 50 plus do, and yet there are plenty of ads picturing older people. Image consultant and personal shopper who specializes in older people. Support person in a cosmetic surgery clinic. Most clinics employ people to answer questions before and after surgery, as well as to do administrative tasks. And finally, indexer. In the U.S. alone, between 600,000 and a million books are published every year. Many of them need an index. Sell your age as a plus. No one's going to ask you to do 50 push-ups, and just because you're not as tech-savvy as a millennial who's been programming since parturition doesn't mean you're unemployable. Indeed, a case can be made for your age being a plus. Most older workers take fewer sick days, fewer days to take care of a sick child, and have that lifetime of experience and Rolodex to draw from. And they're more likely to have the perspective and reduced impulsivity that's helpful amid today's many reflex-reactive workplaces. Want a last hurrah? What's the most exciting project you could pursue that would leverage your experience, your natural talents, and your desire for contribution? Here are a few examples that might trigger your ideas. Give a so-called last lecture at a conference or a local college. Write an article or a book on lessons you've learned from a lifetime as a psychotherapist or whatever you've been. Take a trip in which you visit in different countries a preschool, a prison, or a workplace like yours. Document your experience on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. Want to take a big risk? As people get older, some become more risk-averse while others figure, now or never. How big a risk would you like to take? For example, Might you want to chuck your remunerative career in exchange for low pay work for a nonprofit, or to perform in a musical group? Or if you're sick of your field, to fight, and you usually have to fight like hell, to land a job in a new field. For example, after decades in the software world, might you be tempted to worm your way into the sports biz or the fashion biz? Or, of course, no matter what you do, if you're trying to get into a new field, you got to make the case for how your age is a plus. For example, you might say something like, many older people want to look great, but what works for them is different than for a teeny bopper. My sensibilities and empathy for older people should make me a plus as an employee. Learn efficiently. When we're younger, we feel like we have the luxury of time, and so if we like school, its structure, its social life, and the piece of paper is a going away present, we might have opted to get a degree and perhaps another degree. But as we get older, it's wise to consider more efficient ways of learning. Perhaps most efficient is to pick something specific you want and need to learn now, read a few articles on your own, noting where you're getting stuck, and then find a tutor, maybe someone, and probably someone who's not officially labeled as a tutor, but who has the practical expertise to answer those questions, and questions that come up from your additional reading or from practicing what you've learned. Create your succession plan. Consider creating a glide path from full-on employment to retirement. For example, might you want to replace a day a week of your standard job to mentoring young people or recruiting and then retraining your replacement? Then perhaps work part-time, maybe doing a little consulting on the side, which you might continue after retirement. Consider pre-retirement activities. Sometimes your last years of paid work can feel more rewarding if you supplement them with a pre-retirement activity or two. Here are a few that many people enjoy. Writing a blog, maybe with video, a memoir, short stories, or fiction book, non-fiction book, or mentoring young people, for example, students from your alma mater, or volunteer for SCORE. That's a federal agency that helps would-be entrepreneurs. One-on-one friend-raising or fundraising for a favorite charity. Join the board of a local nonprofit. Take a photography course and then specialize in, for example, naturalistic portraits of kids. Specialize in the surreal or urban realities. Get involved in community theater as an actor, as a set designer, costumer, light and sound person, even an usher. Community theaters often welcome such volunteers. Spend extended time with current friends or past friends, maybe a getaway to a nature spot. As with all such advice, there are no guarantees, but my clients have found one or more of these ideas made their work life in the last years rewarding, maybe even the best years of their work lives. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Marty Nemko.